So, I just moved back into college today, and I decided that my video for this week will be a really easy one, not too editing intensive, just to get back used to using this setup and making sure everything with it works properly. Well, I did a terrible job of choosing the topic, because this is probably going to be the most difficult one I've done in, like, a month or so good job on that, me. But hello everyone, I'm Luxin, and in this video I will be showcasing all 37 alternate costumes you can get by completing challenges in the Land of Challenge if you have the DLC for Xenoblade 2, as well as explaining all the references I can find with them. Now, just because of some of the costumes and some of the characters that I'll be showing off, I will need to spoil, again, the entire game through the end of Chapter 7, so don't watch this video because the spoilers will be sprinkled intermittently through all this stuff. But we got a lot of things to go over, so let's jump right into Rex's, and his first costume, Prototype Suit Rex. This is just a white and orange version of his default Salvager suit, which doesn't really seem to be a reference to anything, because, if anything, the first wave of costumes that came out with Challenge Mode really don't seem to have as many references as the rest of them, but I do think that this might be a reference to Ellie from Xenogears. I'm not 100% sure, but the orange does seem to be similar enough to her hair color where I could say that, yeah, they could just go out there and say, yeah, that was intended to be a reference to that, so if you got it, good job after the fact, and I'd still totally believe that they originally made it that way. I don't know. That's all I got for this one. Next up, we have Cking Rex, which is another recolor of his default Salvager suit. This is actually a reference to two different things. The first one is the unique monster King Ken, which is a green squood, and there's green on this outfit, so that's basically as far as that reference goes, but this is also effectively a recolor of Rex's default Salvager outfit that matches his Master Driver outfit. So, yeah, there are no recolors for the Master Driver outfit, but this is kind of the closest thing to those colors on his regular outfit you'll get. It's not as much the Master Driver colors as a match for one of Pyro's outfits, which I'll explain later on. Rex's last outfit is his swimsuit, Cloud Sea Shark Rex, which is, again, just Rex in swimwear. The salvaging helmet he usually carries on his back for Gramps is replaced with just a string bag that you'd like take down to the beach or something. Unfortunately, if you actually try to salvage with this outfit on, he'll just wear his whatever outfit he has, either his normal one or his Master Driver one, depending on where you are in the story, so you can't see him with the bag over the head diving into the Cloud Sea without a shirt on, but this is still a pretty good outfit. All the blue is just the same blue that's on his regular salvaging gear, and his swim trunks do have an X on them, which is kind of a big deal for the whole Xeno series thing. That could reference a lot of things. I'm not even going to bother going into all the things that could be a reference to, but it's there. The one thing it's definitely not a reference to is Xenoblade Chronicles X, because it's the wrong color, but X is the first letter in Xeno, so that's a thing. Also, the little launcher for his grappling hook that he uses for anchor shot is replaced with a figurine of an Oligo enemy in this costume. Now, Oligos are literal land sharks, as in they just kind of took a shark and put legs on it, so that's probably the shark being referenced in the name of the costume. Moving on to Nia, both of her forms, Driver and Blade, actually have 3 different costumes. So the first Driver Nia costume is Candy Stripe Nia. It basically just puts her in pink and white stripes, which looks similar to peppermint or a candy cane, which is presumably where the name comes from. These colors specifically and the pinstripe thing might also be a reference to clown costume, since her shoes somewhat look the part and she wears a jumpsuit or something. There's not really anything in this. Again, it's from the first wave of costumes, so don't expect some huge deep reference in it for the most part. Next up, though, is Blood Witch Nia. It's Nia in red and black, which, again, unfortunately doesn't seem to be a reference to anything. Nia, out of all characters, seems to get the shaft the most in terms of not having any good references in her costumes, which is really unfortunate because she doesn't have a model swap that gives her Blade outfit for her driver form, which is kind of sad. But next is Fancy Sundress Nia, her technically swimwear costume. It's Nia in a sundress, but it's adorable, and it's easily the best costume in the game. The dress is the same color as her regular jumpsuit, and the shoes she wears in this costume are also modeled after the shoes from that, just a bit more open. She's also got a plush Dromark on her right wrist, as well as a small patch of his face on her chest, which, of course, just only serves to add to the cuteness factor. Moving on to Blade Nia though, her first outfit is Loyal Bellflower Nia, which is just giving Blade Nia Driver Nia's color scheme. Next up though is Sincere Primrose Nia, which could possibly be just Driver Nia's colors but inverted, so the red is more prominent and the yellow is less so, but the red and yellow also don't match her driver colors, so this could very well actually be an Octopath Traveler reference. The reddish pink thing seems a bit closer to Primrose's outfit than anything in Xenoblade 2 or any previous Xeno game for it to be a reference to that, and she has darker hair, so yeah, this could very well just be Primrose from Octopath Traveler. Kind of a random reference, but it's there, so that's pretty cool. Blade Nia's last costume is Devoted Marigold Nia, which doesn't seem to be a reference to anything, except possibly Dromark. Like, it's black and silver, so it could be just Dromark's color scheme, but with the silver relegated to highlights and the black made the same thing. It does slightly change her hair color too, which might lend something to that, because it does make it look a lot closer to Dromark. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it does look cool at least. Next up, we've got Torres Outfits, and he has only 3. First off is Buster Mode Tora, which is basically Papi Buster Tora, and by that I mean his mohawk is replaced with a little thing made of the same crystallized light energy thing that Papi Buster has, although the actual colors of his fur and his outfit are actually different from Papi Buster's body, because it's mostly just a silvery metal color. This is probably a reference to some sort of mech from Xeno games past, most likely Veltal from Gears, but it could also be E.S. Asher from Saga. His next costume is Skullface Punk Tora, which is just kind of a reference to how he has a mohawk, which is a stereotypical punk haircut, and then makeup that makes him look like a skull on his face, although it just kind of turns him into a panda with a red tuft of hair. Doesn't really seem to be a reference to anything specific, unless the blue and gray overalls and the skull thing on his chest are a reference to something, but even if it's not a reference, it is still terrifying. And his last costume is Best Girl Fan Tora, which is his swimwear. It's him with a snorkel, a swimsuit, and a Pyro shirt with hearts on it. This is a reference to the fact that he is a fat perverted otaku, and it's making fun of perverted otakus who only like Pyra for her waifu-ness. It's making fun of you too. Please go outside sometimes. Next up though is the first of Morag's costumes, Dress Uniform Morag. It's her without her hat and with a primarily white and red uniform. The reason she's hatless is probably twofold. The first off is she looks really nice without it, and you only get to see her that way in a couple cutscenes, so here's an option to play as her like that. And secondly, because it's a dress uniform, you probably wear that at formal occasions when you might be removing your hat in respect to someone or something. The reason the uniform is white is probably a reference to Niall's outfit, since his costume, the thing that he's usually in, seems to be some sort of more ordained military dress uniform as well, with all the medals and stuff. So she's high-ranking in the military, and she's related to Niall, so her having something similar to him as her dress uniform does make a lot of sense. Her next costume is a little less interesting. It is Scarlet Inquisitor Morag, which is Red Morag, basically. It's either the colors from the dress uniform reversed, so the red is the main color and the white's the secondary one, or a small reference to Id from Xenogears, since he has white skin, she has white highlights on the outfit, and the red on her outfit is sort of similar to the red on his armor. Morag's swimsuit is Obligatory Leave Morag, which is a two-piece swimsuit vaguely based on her default uniform, and by that I mean it's black, and the primary color of her default uniform is black, so that's about it. The name is probably in reference to the fact that she's a very serious person and takes her duties as Special Inquisitor so seriously that she'd probably never actually take a break from them to do something like go swimming unless Niall actually ordered her to do so. So that's a thing. She wears a sun visor type thing on her head, which is based off of the brim of her usual hat, which is kind of good because she does still do the idle animations adjusting it again. And there are two small strips on her waistband, which are the same red and white as on her regular uniform. Finishing out the drivers is Zeke, and we finally hit the motherload of cool references because his first costume, Embercake Zeke, gives him the color scheme of the party member Bart from Xenogears. This is a very cool reference, first off because they do look similar design-wise, so if anyone's gonna get a Bart costume, it is Zeke, but also because of the fact that the Xeno games tend to reuse character archetypes and themes and other certain plot elements and that kind of thing. Now you're thinking, okay, so they reuse things sometimes, and that's why people like the whole series, because there are a lot of similar things. But the important part about that is, Bart is very, very much the precursor to Zeke when it comes to character type. So that's really cool. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to get Faye as a Blade or something unless Monolith and Square somehow decide to cooperate again, but at least you can get Embercake Zeke, Cosmos, Shulk, Elma, and Rex on screen at the same time, and that's at least pretty cool. The references don't stop there, though, because his second costume, Shining Justice Zeke, is a reference to Bart's half-brother Sigurd. Although Sigurd does have two costumes throughout the story, and the color scheme of this one is kind of a combination of the two of them, although the hair is obviously the same. Unfortunately, it doesn't swap the eye patch to the other eye to match the fact that Sigurd's eye patch is on the other eye from Zeke and Bart, but it's still very cool and a cool thing to have in general. His swimsuit is Surfinator Zeke, in which it's just him in swimwear and a tie for some reason. Obviously, since he's shirtless, you can see the segment of Pandora's core crystal in his chest very clearly, so this, as well as Sundress Nia, since you can see her core crystal, and the 3 Blade Nia costumes are actually completely locked off, so you can't buy any of those until you hit Chapter 8 in your first playthrough. If you're in New Game Plus, you can buy it no matter where you are in the story, so that's pretty cool. They're actually trying to avoid spoilers, which is, it's nice. Doing a better job at it than Sakurai is, that's for sure. But anyway, the kanji for Kyoku, which appears on the ground whenever Zeke uses Ultimate Lightning Fury / Max, is on both his swim trunks and the tie. The tie is there just because he's a goofy dude that's in character for him to do, and the name Surfinator is of course a reference to how he calls himself, the Zekinator. So with that, we've got all the drivers down, but there are still plenty more blades to go through. And we're starting the blades off on a pretty high note because Pyrrha has 4 really solid costumes. Her first one is Disguised Pyrrha, which is just her wearing her Gormati cloak disguise that she wore during part of Chapter 2. A lot of people just straight up prefer the cloak to her normal design, so yeah, it's there, it's pretty cute. We take those. Next up is Mithra style Pyrrha. Both Pyrrha and Mithra have an outfit which swaps their 2 color schemes, so this is just Pyrrha but with Mithra colors. Her third is Blue Sky Pyrrha, which is Pyrrha with a color scheme that probably references her and Mithra's true form, which I'm just going to call Numa for the sake of this video. This is the outfit I said would match Cloud Sea Cking Rex because the color distribution is slightly different from the actual Numa, so it's probably designed more to go along with that than with Rex's Master Driver outfit. The name is actually a reference to the song Elysium in the Blue Sky, which is on the game's OST, and if I'm remembering to edit this correctly, you are listening to right now. Her swimwear is Pro Swimmer Pyrrha, which is just a one-piece swimsuit version of her normal outfit. Interestingly enough, she does get a new green marking on her chest, which, combined with where the black moves into the red on the sides, does actually make her boobs kind of resemble the Xenoblade 2 Pro controller, which if you take that and the scene where she tells Rex to touch her chest, meaning her core crystal, into account, I don't know. Is this subliminal advertising trying to tell you to buy the Pro controller? It might very well be, but that is pretty funny, and it is a pretty cool outfit. I do like it a bit. So with that out of the way, though, we'll kind of move on to another Pyrrha outfit, though, because Mithra's first outfit is Pyrrha style Mithra, which is just Mithra but with Pyrrha colors. Her next outfit, though, is Carbon Mithra, which gives her a color scheme that resembles her fellow Aegis Malos pretty closely. The green lights do stay the same color as they always are, but her hair and the highlights on her outfit are the color of his core crystal, which is a nice purple color, so she does still have the whole black and purple thing that Malos has going on. Her swimsuit is Radiant Beach Mithra, which is a one-piece swimsuit, again based on her default outfit like Pyrrha, but it does take a few clues from Pyrrha's, with the whole thing where you can actually see her belly button through the suit as well as the 2 cutout parts at the hip. Interestingly enough, Pyrrha doesn't have the belly button thing, even though her normal outfit does, but Mithra kind of steals Pyro's bottom area, but recolors it. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm not about to make an essay on Pyro and Mithra swimsuits, because, yeah, obvious reasons. Anyway, though, Dromark unfortunately only has 2 outfits because he did not get one with the swimwear update. Now, obviously, the giant tiger isn't going to be putting on a swimsuit of any sort, but they could have given us pajama Dromark. That would have been great. Regardless, though, his first outfit is Savage Dromark, which just gives him the color scheme of a normal tiger. That makes sense. He's an albino tiger, but with blue eyes, so giving him regular tiger colors. It works. It looks cool. And his second costume is Obsidian Dromark, which is him with a color scheme referencing the extremely rare tiger coloration where they're just kind of black on black. So, yeah, it's not the greatest looking costume out there, but it does actually have a reference to something in it, which is pretty cool. Bridgid's first costume is Crimson Orchid Bridgid, which is her but with red and black colors, although her flames will stay their trademark blue no matter what outfit you put her in. This just seems to go very well with Morag's regular outfit, since the darkest red on Bridgid is the same as Morag's red highlights, and her dress is black, so this just lends even more credence to my theory that Morag and Bridgid are sharing clothes. Wink wink. Her second costume is Jade Orchid Bridgid, which is just a lime popsicle Bridgid. This seems to be the least interesting costume out of all of them, because it's not really a reference to anything. The one thing that it could actually be a reference to is referenced in one of Papi's costumes, so it's not even that. So I don't know. That is what it is. Her swimsuit, though, is a Water Lily Bridgid, which is a one-piece swimsuit that isn't based on anything specifically, but it keeps her flower motif going with the patterns on it, and it matches the colors of her hair and limbs. At first I thought it was something Aegeon related, just in the colors, but no, it's just kind of keeping the lighter blues going, so it's just a swimsuit very much designed to suit Bridgid, and it does look good, so who am I to complain? Pandora's first outfit is Mermaid Blue Pandora, which is just her but with a lot of different blues on her. The color scheme overall does seem pretty close to Sheba, who is mermaid themed, so this does make a lot of sense, but the glasses and a few highlight colors are from someone else from Xenoblade 2. And hold on to your everything, because this is the weirdest crossover you're gonna see out of these outfits. It's Mooey Mooey. So, Pandora, the lightning blade from Tantal, has a design that's a combination of Sheba, the water blade you get at Gormott, and Mooey Mooey, the Napon, who was in Gormott at one point, but you meet in Morardane. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know who thought of this, but that's just really, really funny, so again, I'm not complaining. Her second outfit is Magical Pink Pandora, which is just pink and white version of her. There doesn't really seem to be a specific reference to anything in here besides just obviously accentuating all the hearts on her outfit, so, oh, love, hearts. It fits her personality pretty well, so that works, but that combined with the name does make you think magical girl, so it might be going for something with that, since she has a staff, which is basically the handle of Zeke's sword as technically her blade weapon, and Zeke has the sword. I'm not going to go into that this time, but I am going to go into Beach Date Pandora, which is her in a two-piece swimsuit, which again doesn't reference anything directly, but it just looks really cute, and matches her usual color scheme, mostly going for her hair. It works really well, it looks nice. But it does give me a really, really funny mental image, and that is that the name is actually a reference to something. That being, her and Zeke actually someday decided to go on a date together to the beach. So Zeke's like, okay, I want to look nice, I want to impress her, but we're going swimming, so I'm not going to be wearing much clothing. So what am I supposed to do? And then he bought a waterproof tie and wore that. So that's my headcanon for why Surfinator Zeke has a tie. Please don't burst my bubble in the comments. I want to believe that I can actually come up with funny things, okay? Anyway though, last and most certainly not least, we have Papi, who has 4 costumes split between her 3 forms. The first one is Cornflower Papi Alpha, which is just Papi Alpha but bluer. This might be a reference to sailor suits, that's kind of all I got there, because she does have the beret, and blue is a typical navy sailory type color. So that's that. That's really it. But what isn't it is Antique Princess QT, which gives Papi QT the color scheme of Melia from Xenoblade Chronicles 1. They're not really alike personality-wise, but they do seem superficially similar enough in design because Melia has 2 hair loopies and 2 wings, and QT has twin tails, plus the maid outfit and Melia's dress are similar enough, and they both have thigh highs, so if you give QT Melia's color scheme, it does actually kind of look like Melia from a cursory glance, so it works. It looks nice. I love Melia, so this is good for me. But what's also good is Nano Orange Cutie Pie, which is Papi Cutie Pie with a color scheme reminiscent of the character Emeralda from Xenogears. This is a bit of a tenuous reference because the colors don't match as well as most of the other Xenogears ones, and this is the character that I said Jade Orchid Bridgid could possibly be referencing, but I think Cutie Pies is the closer reference here, especially since QT got a costume that was also a reference to a previous Xeno character. So that's pretty cool, and we're gonna end things on another adorable thing, probably the second best out of all these costumes, that being Swim Lesson Alpha. It's Papi Alpha, actually completely remodeled this time. They didn't just recolor her clothes, but they did have the hot spring model to work off of, so they probably just retextured that in some way. It's her with a swimsuit, a swimming cap, goggles, and a Tora-themed inner tube. The reference for this is obviously the fact that mentally, she's the youngest character in the game, so she probably wouldn't know how to swim, and it looks adorable, so who are us to judge any of this? I'm not going to judge her for not being able to swim. We saw her be born, basically, so stop giving her shit. Also, this is the end of the video. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching as always. There's a subscribe button, there's a like button, there's a comment button, do as many of those as you want to. And until next time, this is Luxin, signing off.